What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's everything you want. It's nothing you need.
I thought the show was called Everything You Need and Nothing You Want and Everything You Want and Nothing You Want and Everything You Need and Nothing You Need and Everything You Want and Nothing You Need.
At this point, it's nothing you want, nothing you need.
And yet people listen, I think. I hope.
I think sometimes. I don't know.
You can check the numbers on like the podcast
I
stuff.
try to not
right?
look at the numbers. They depress me because they keep going down.
Like you can look at not just the YouTube, but like the analytics for the podcast.
Oh, like for the audio podcast?
Yeah.
I could probably pull those up.
Yeah, I'm sure you could pull that up.
Yep, them subscribers keep dropping. That's great.
Oh.
Anyway,
Here we are again, another week.
let's let me pull up the
You gonna pull that up?
old analytics
All right.
while you distract the fans, as we call them.
Oh,
That's
no.
That's our terminology for people who enjoy our work. We call them fans. I think that's a radical term. I think that's a
I got
unique
a better term.
verbiage.
We can call them people. Hey, people.
People's good.
How you doing? I checked out last night. I watched Hairspray for the first time in completion.
I know nothing of that musical.
It is about segregation, racism, how it's bad.
But it's called Hairspray.
Yes, I don't know why it's called Hairspray exactly, except that they use hairspray.
Is there like a barbershop or like a...
No, the main thing is like a
hair
TV show
salon?
that's sponsored by a hairspray company, and so they use hairspray.
Do they have a song about hairspray?
Kind of. I mean, I would ask the expert, but she's not here at the moment. So.
But you just watched it. You would know.
Yeah, it was good.
He says with a question mark at
No,
the end.
it was good. I liked it. I don't know the correlation between segregation and racism to Hairspray. Like Jersey Boys is about 4 boys from Jersey.
Yeah.
Les Miserables is the miserable, and
Yep.
they're miserable people.
Phantom of the Opera. There's a phantom,
He's the
and
Phantom
he
of
sings
the
opera.
Opera.
Yes, yes.
Cats is about angelical cats.
Yeah, it's about something.
Babe.
She ran away.
She ran away.
She ran away.
Okay.
She said, "I want nothing to do with you
Why
or
is-
your bad storytelling."
Could you come over here, please, for a second? Because, I mean, I would consider you the expert on this matter of hairspray. Why exactly is hairspray called hairspray?
If there's no hairspray involved,
There is hairspray involved.
Can you speak in the mic?
is there a song? Is there a song about?
There is a song
this
about
one
hairspray.
here is like he's like it's called Hairspray. I don't know why. It had nothing
Yeah.
to do with hairspray.
It has everything to do about hairspray.
What exactly does it have to do, besides the fact that like it's sponsored by Hairspray and they use hairspray? Like, what does segregation equal hairspray?
Because depending on which community you're in, is the price of the hairspray. They mark up the prices based on the demographic.
And it's got Queen Latifah.
And John Travolta, right?
John Travolta is the mom, yes,
Interesting.
and Zac Efron.
John Travolta is the mom and Zac Efron?
Yes, John Travolta is playing
Whoa.
Zac Efron.
He's really stepped up his game recently.
Okay, bye, babe.
Anyway,
Oh, she says her feet are cold. Well, we still don't have an answer as to why Hairspray is called Hairspray. But anyways, of the musicals,
Life's
Dear
greatest
Evan Hansen is
mysteries.
called Dear Evan Hansen because he wrote a letter to himself called Dear Evan Hansen, and that caused a whirlwind of shit to happen that he decided to go along with. Monty Python and the Holy Grail is just Monty. Actually, no, it's Spamalot, but it's a riff on Camelot, which King Arthur is from.
I'm currently writing a musical called Norm, in honor of Norm
Oh,
Macdonald.
nice. What happened to Norm Macdonald?
Rest in peace, Norm. We miss you. He had cancer for
Oh.
9 years and didn't tell anybody.
Oh.
And so it
So,
was,
do you want to tell us why Hairspray is called Hairspray?
I feel like we just went over this.
We were about to, and then she left.
I mean, she kind of acknowledged that there's something about hairspray in there. Is it name brand hairspray, or do you think it's like the cheap stuff?
Yes.
Maybe that's it. They're upset that they can't afford the good stuff, and they have to resort to like the store brand hairspray.
No, they're upset about they can't be on the show, and except for one day a week where it's called Negro Day. 1 day a month. Oh, I thought it was 1 day a fucking week.
I like how you were mildly outraged at 1 day a week, and then you were corrected to a month, and you were like, wait a minute. That's way worse.
That is way worse. It's like, yeah, we can only have black people on the station.
Once a month is a Negro Day.
Yeah, it's Negro Day.
Musicals are interesting.
Yeah, history's weird. Takes place during the 60s.
When was Hairspray written?
When was it written? The 70s?
Is it a new... Oh, it's an old musical.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah, like an adaptation.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been many adaptations.
Yeah.
When do we get Sonic the Hedgehog, the musical?
Sometime soon. We already got Shrek the Musical.
A
There's the
masterpiece.
SpongeBob the Musical, which actually is surprisingly
Apparently
really
that's
good.
also very good.
No, Shrek the Musical sucks.
Oh.
I tried watching on Netflix. It fucking sucks.
Oh, that's right. It's like it's just a animated film still.
No, it's an actual. It's
wait, there's a live action
It's a stage
musical?
musical. Yeah, and it's
Oh.
a piece of shit.
For some reason I thought it
Because
was
Shrek
animated
doesn't
film.
work as a musical.
I mean the natural film is kind of a musical.
But it's like an anti-musical.
Yeah.
Parody of
Yeah.
But like it uses a ton of music to
Yeah,
use
but
its
it's
message.
not associated with the characters.
The characters aren't singing.
It's
it's
like disjointed from it.
there's
It's like background.
there's a term for that.
Yes.
You and I are both trying to struggle as we think of the term.
It starts with a D or an S. Diametric?
No.
Diatronic?
Diatonic?
I think so. Something like that. It starts with a D.
You have two computers in front of you, Hunter.
All right,
Maybe you
I'm
should
on
look
it.
it up.
Name for when
Music is not
actors
associated.
can't hear music.
Yeah.
It's gonna come back and be like deaf. Non-diegetic sound,
Non-diegetic.
also called commentary or non-literal sound,
Yeah.
is any sound that does not originate from within the film's world.
Because all like the Disney musicals, is the
Non-diegetic.
character is singing it and it's progressing the story. Whereas in Shrek, it's music that they can't hear it, but we can, and it's essentially feelings.
You know this was an educational podcast, did you?
Yeah, because plus I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, Shrek the Musical doesn't open up with "Somebody once told me."
It should.
I know.
Everything should.
Yeah, Spider-Man, the Prince of Egypt, instead of delivers somebody.
Do you
ends up getting
remember? Do you
whipped.
remember the Spider-Man musical?
Oh, Out of the Shadows. How it was only for like one night only because it just the guy that played Spider-Man got injured and then they parodied it on South Park.
It was so bad.
Oh, and Kimmy Schmidt. Yeah, they parodied it on Kimmy Schmidt.
Interesting.
But the South Park one's hilarious because you got Randy Marsh as Spider-Man.
I saw like some deep
Shelly!
dive. I saw some deep dive video on that thing, and it was like if it could have gone wrong, it did go wrong.
Yeah.
That was a cluster.
And now there's gonna be this week there was a trailer for Hawkeye, which I'm excited about because it looks like it's being inspired by the Matt Fraction's run of Hawkeye, which I have. I love it. But there's a scene in the trailer that looks like it's a parody on Hamilton, and it's Rogers the Musical. And it looks like it's going to be about Steve Rogers, and I guess like
Interesting.
his exploitation with the Avengers. Not exploitation, I'm sorry. Just, him with the Avengers and whatnot.
Interesting.
But I want to see that musical become reality. I want to see Rogers the Musical.
Like Roger from American Dad?
No, like Steve Rogers.
No, Roger.
Yeah, the alien.
Roger the alien.
Yeah.
He's probably had his own musical at this point. Is that show still going?
Yes, I'm surprised there's not like a Simpsons the musical or a Family Guy the musical.
I'm sure Family Guy has done, I'm probably both of them. Have
Yeah,
done
musical episodes.
Musical episodes.
But I'm talking about a
a
musical,
full-blown musical.
like a Broadway production.
The Simpsons has to have had something.
I don't think so. We would have
feel
heard about it.
30-year stint.
Like the
you
big
haven't had a
Disney
musical?
movies get musicals. Like Aladdin's got a musical.
X-Play had a musical. I feel like
Little
Simpsons could've
Mermaid
had a
has a
musical.
musical. The Lion King has a really good musical. Beauty and the Beast is also really good. The Aladdin one's also really good too. I want to see that live. The only one I've seen live was Beauty and the Beast on Broadway.
I saw Lion King Broadway.
Like on Broadway.
Broadway.
Yeah, I saw Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate it at the time because I was in middle school. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. It's Broadway. It's Beauty and the Beast, and I'm in that phase of like, yeah, I don't really care about Disney right now.
Where's the cartoon?
And there's that phase of like Disney's for kids. Ugh. It was also during that phase that I'm also like South Park is stupid. Dragon Ball Z is also for kids. I want to watch some like adult anime, like
South Park is,
Battle Vixens.
I love
and
South Park.
Chobits.
I just wish they had a more consistent schedule.
Well, they did.
Miles is always like he'll ask me, he's like, is South Park happening right now? And I'm like, I have no idea. Let me check. And I look and I'm like, it's either nope, they haven't done anything in 2 years, or it's like, oh,
well,
they just wrapped up another season. I had no idea.
You know why they haven't done anything in almost 2 years now? Because of fucking COVID.
No, I get that, but at the same time, like,
because usually it's like around September time. It's like, all right, it's gonna start cranking out now.
But even before COVID, it just seems like their schedule's always been a little.
It's like
off.
September to November.
It's a little random.
That's usually the schedule time. September to November.
I just love how they have such a incredibly short turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Like something will happen on Monday, and by the next new episode, they're already like referencing it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But what's going on in the world of video games?
2K / THQ. 2K THQ.
Sound it out.
THQ.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a weird mini direct thingy. They showed off some games and like, hey, yeah, we have like 20 other games we're working on right now, but here's a couple games. They showed off something, another thing, something, Destroy All Humans 2.
Go, because I completely missed it. I didn't even know it happened.
A brand new SpongeBob game.
So let's go through it because I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah, no, I saw it was happening. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Interesting.
I don't really care. I mean, they're not really big. I mean, they're big, but at the same time, it's just like, that kind. It's just,
You're not excited to wave dash as SpongeBob?
They didn't show anything about that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
That's disappointing.
I know on the 20th, which is tomorrow, we should be getting Persona news.
Was that the anniversary date?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Is there have they said to expect news on this date, or we're just anticipating?
I think so. I could be wrong,
okay.
But I think so. I'm hoping we get an announcement of like a remaster of like 1 or 2 or a collection of just like, you know what? The Persona collection coming to PS4, PS5.
Put it on Switch.
And on Switch.
Put them on Switch. You want to make money? You want to not be Square and be like, check out this awesome collection of some of our all-time classic greatest hits.
Only on PC.
Only on PC and mobile.
I don't know what they were thinking about that.
I don't know, and it's hilarious too because every time their social media posts something about it now,
put on console.
All the comments are just, yeah, that's cool. When's it going to be on console?
Yeah. When's it going to be on Switch?
And honestly, a lot of times I'm like, man, gamers are they're whiners, they're babies, you can't please them. I'm kind of with them on this one. Like,
yeah,
I see no reason for it to not be on console. I don't understand why it's not. Like, I don't get what they're trying to accomplish by only having it on those 2 platforms.
Money, I guess, but
that's the thing. Everyone's like, we want to give you money on this platform.
I mean, to be fair, in Japan, I think the PC and cell phones are the biggest devices.
They probably are. That's true.
So they're only looking at what's big in Japan because they're Japanese.
Yeah, that's true. They may just be more concerned with the Japanese market.
Like, they're not trying to promote it to us. They don't care about us.
That's true. I mean, you're not wrong. Maybe that's what's holding them back.
Exactly.
Right. What else is going on in the world of gaming?
That's about it. It's kind of been a slow week in terms of gaming. Week? Yeah, So
maybe we're going to have to sit around and talk about our feelings?
Yes. Hell yeah.
Oh.
So I'm feeling a little sad right now.
I'm a little nauseous just thinking about talking about my feelings.
Oh, damn. Well, I mean, what have you done this week? How's the week been in the life of Huntar?
I had a cookie that I thought was delicious. You were not impressed.
No, it was like too buttery.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever. Well, that's not true. I've had a bad cookie, but any cookie that's not soft and chewy is a bad cookie, though. if you ask me.
I like a good in between. Like I like a little hard, but also a little soft. Like a nice, good, fresh.
Pick a lane.
Nestlé Tohal.
Why you say it like it's cuisine?
Nestlé Tohal.
I believe the term you're looking for there, and let me translate to all the locals. Nestle Toll House.
Si.
That's you just went to a different language.
Oui.
And you reverted back to the other language.
Hi.
Wow, I didn't know you were such a linguist.
Hi.
What a guy. Let's see. I'm sure something's been going on.
That one girl was found.
No. The GameCube just has 20th anniversary.
Cool.
20 years old is one of the greatest systems of all time.
We need to have a GameCube game night.
GameCube game night?
Yeah.
I had a GameCube game night once with Ian and Miles, and Miles will gladly remind you that I became extremely irritated and salty when we were playing Mario Baseball, and that game was rigged because Ian kept throwing strikes and I couldn't hit the ball. Not because I'm bad, it was because that game was rigged, and it was coded for me to lose. I could have won. I should have won. That was like 2 years ago. I'm still not over it.
You know what we could try to do is have a Rock Band game night.
You got all the equipment?
No. Do you?
No. So there goes Rock Band night.
Well, we find it. It won't be that hard to find.
Maybe.
Go to VNC. They got plenty of like plastic guitars.
You want to find 2 guitars, the microphone, and the drums. That's Rock Band night. The full set.
Okay. We just go to VNC. They're more than likely going to have all that.
He may have 1 or 2 things.
He's going to have plenty of guitars.
I doubt he's going to have the full set.
I'm sure he's going to have some mics.
And where are you going to store it all?
I don't fucking know. But I still have my 360, which I have a lot of shit from Rock Band 1 and 2, Rock Band AC/DC.
Is that whole era and game style just gone now?
I think so. Rocksmith is still a thing, but you have to actually own an actual guitar.
Yeah, and it's less party game and
it's
more
learning
how to actually play, which, I mean, I still think is a cool concept,
yeah.
But it's not a Friday night, get all your friends together type game, from what I know.
Plus, I'm sure those controls are probably, like, falling apart. Like, you try to, like, use it, and it probably won't be as responsive, because after a couple of years, those guitar controllers just suck.
I mean, that's the other issue, too, is, like, you may be able to find a guitar, but is it going to match your system? And even if it does match your system, is it in good condition? And even if it is in good condition, does it work properly? Because a lot of those, I had one brand new come that never really worked properly.
Damn.
Because I remember it was like Guitar Hero 3, I think, and it came with 2 guitars. One of them I used all the time, worked flawlessly. The other one almost never worked. It was terrible, which sucks because those are really fun games and they're really popular. Like, everyone I know seems to really enjoy them. Everyone I know, I think, at least at one point owned one of them.
Yeah, I had Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
So
I had like Guitar Hero 3, Guitar Hero 1.
So I'm
Guitar
not
Hero
really
World
sure
Tour.
what caused. I mean, did it just burn out? Did it have its phase and everyone just kind of went?
Maybe because there was also like DJ Hero
and Band Hero, and now there's a PC version called Clone Hero, which you can actually just import and create your own songs.
Yeah. There was Beatles Rock Band, which that was really good.
But I mean, that was part of the era. That's the thing, is like I don't know if sales numbers were just dwindling.
Because it continued on into like the PS4, Xbox One era, but that was like they tried to bring it back.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. I remember Guitar Hero's last game was a huge flop.
Yeah.
It was it Guitar Hero Live?
Is that what
there
was also like a live service.
Oh. I just remember like the whole point was like, oh man, we got a real audience here and they'll actually boo you if you suck. And I was like, that's not appealing. That's not why I bought this. If I want to be booed for sucking, I'd buy a real guitar.
Oh, you fucking suck.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
But you have a real guitar.
I do have a real guitar, and it's missing a string.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been tuned.
Yeah, and
And I use it. I use it to prop closed my 2 curtains.
Yeah, I kind of want
great.
it so I can like get up back with guitar.
You gonna start a band?
Yeah, I mean we got a keyboard right here, which I mean you already know how to play piano/keyboard.
That is true.
We just have to find a place to plug it in because you can't plug it in where it is because
Oh yeah.
the internet.
The internet is important.
Without the internet, what is life?
Why do you? Oh.
Because that is where the fiber.
They don't have fiber.
No, we do. That's the thing. That's where the fiber comes in.
No, I know, but it's converted. That's why.
Yeah.
Because
the fiber box.
if
is
they
on
had the
other
modern line, you would just have one plug coming out to the
Yeah.
router, and you'd be set. I was like, what?
But I mean,
At first, I'm like, you don't have cable TV. What is that? And then I
Well-
realized I'm like, oh yeah, it's the
it's an old studio.
reference. Converter.
Yeah.
Internet sucks. I hate
Also,
internet
guess what
providers.
happened this week? You were there for that just a couple days ago.
What happened this week? A couple days ago.
I picked up Midnight Sun.
And you're so. It's the fact that you're really proud of it, and at the same time, while being proud of it, you're also just like, I've made a grave mistake. I hate it. I'm miserable, but I got it.
I'm reading it right now. I'm on chapter 3.
And for the uninformed, what is Midnight Sun? Why does it matter?
It is Twilight from Edward Cullen's point of view, which I've never read Twilight. I've only seen bits and pieces of the movies.
Okay,
But I'm like, you know what? This sounds interesting. All right.
but you've never read Twilight.
Maybe this might be better, now that she just had years of experience from writing Twilight and all those books. Maybe it's gotten better.
So this is a new book.
Yes. It's Twilight from the point of view of Edward. So we get to see what he thinks and whatnot, and what he's doing.
That just feels like a cop-out book.
It might be, but you know what? Since I've never read Twilight,
I feel like you should read Twilight first
probably.
and then read Midnight Sun.
But at the same time, like, I'm going in backwards.
And here's the other question. Why at all to begin with?
Well, it was on clearance.
But, like, there's so many other things you could be looking
but you
into
know
and
what?
investing your time in. Why this?
You know what? If I want to honestly say, boo Twilight, Twilight's garbage, I want to at least give it the justice it deserves.
I feel like you could just watch the movie and do
Yeah,
that.
but I'm sure that's much worse. I'm sure the movies are just hot pieces of garbage compared to the books. I'm sure the books can be a little bit better because of the active imagination.
So let me get this straight. Your entire goal here is to finish a crappy book that you know you don't like.
That I may actually like.
Also, you can justify saying, I don't like this.
Possibly. Or I could end up liking it and be like, I guess I'm going to read the rest of the books and be like, all right, I guess what? They're just okay. They're just mediocre.
But from what you told me earlier, you're already in a place of like, I don't like this. I'm suffering.
Oh,
It's
no.
not good."
I didn't.
That's what you said earlier.
Did
before
I?
we started.
That's what she said.
I thought you said earlier, you're like, I'm on chapter 3 and I'm suffering.
Oh,
or something
no.
like that.
I just said I'm on chapter 3. She probably said I'm suffering.
Maybe. Interesting.
Like, I'm willing to give it a fair shot. Chances are I could end up liking it and be like, oh, it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. I've read worse books. It could just be like, yeah, it's average. It does the job.
If you say so.
It just also so happened, like, I was actually there to buy another book. I was buying Empire of the Vampire, Empire of Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new book that came out. Like, I remember seeing, like, previews for it, and I'm like, okay, this seems like it might be interesting. Like, a cool epic fantasy, but with vampires. And it just so happened that I ended up getting 2 books about vampires. And I'm like, well, that's just pure coincidence. That's just pure coincidence. I mean, I am a fan of vampires as a whole. I've usually around October time I reread Dracula every year because it's a really good book to read. Although this year I might mix it up, might go with Frankenstein.
Might go with Midnight Sun.
no.
Might mix it up this year and read some books about some other vampires.
No, Frankenstein. That's also another good one. You want some good old classic very original science fiction.
Yeah, Twilight.
And then I've also read The Vampire Chronicles. Not all of them, but, a good chunk of them by Anne Rice. That's the really adult vampires. It's very bloody, very gory, very sexual. They're basically, it doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, or child.
Interesting.
Yeah, it gets kind of disgusting. I will give it this. It's a spoiler and it's disgusting, but at least he gets his comeuppance. There's a vampire named Armand. Mm-hmm. He is terrible. He has sex with little boys, kills little boys. He eventually gets killed, so it's okay. But still, there's a book that's like you just follow the vampire Armand. It's not cool. Interview with the Vampire. There's a vampire little girl. She was converted when she's like 10 years old, but she still like ages mentally. So she eventually like starts to fall in love with the main character, Louis. In the movie, it's played by Kirsten Dunst, and Louis is Brad Pitt. And it's weird.
It's just weird.
Because like mentally, she's an adult.
Yeah.
But physically, she's a child. And it's just like, no.
So all the lollies are eating that one up.
Yeah, I mean, they're well written, and like Anne Rice can write them good. It's just, it's taste, whether you want this hyper sexualized vampire stuff that, they are essentially monsters, they're...
Yeah.
Or, you can go safe and go with, like, Dracula, which, I mean, in itself is not very safe because he is also, banging left and right and eating people. And it's also suggested that he's bisexual.
So Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania. I also really enjoyed Castlevania.
Everyone likes Castlevania.
Mm-hmm. Castlevania is what got me into vampires and Dracula.
I mean, that makes sense. That's a bit of a gateway.
Yeah, because I played Castlevania. I'm like, I should read Dracula.
That tracks.
And one day in high school, I think in 10th grade, I guess someone left a copy of Dracula under their desk. They checked out from a different library, and I'm like, this is my book now.
This is mine now.
Yeah. And I still have that copy.
Was Symphony of the Night your first Castlevania?
No, actually. No, Symphony of the Night was not my first. My first was Curse of Darkness. Actually, no, my very first was the demo for Lament of Innocence, because I remember that was on a demo disc that was with Final Fantasy X-2.
Are those the 3D ones from like the 360?
And the PS2.
Okay.
No, PS2 and Xbox. Not 360.
Okay. What's the one on 360?
Lords of Shadow.
Lords of Shadow. Okay.
And that's the games that killed Castlevania.
I was going to say, none of the 3D ones are like good, right?
I'd say the PS2 era, like the two ones like Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness are really good. Because like Lament of Innocence is the origin story, so you play as like the first Belmont, you play as Leon Belmont, voiced by the same guy that does Kakashi, and then you're fighting this vampire that's not Dracula, but for all intents and purposes, it's essentially Dracula, but it's before Dracula. His wife is converted to a vampire, so you're forced to kill your wife using this whip that's like the alchemist whip, and then that becomes the vampire killer. You slay the vampire. Your best friend is actually the one behind it all, because he's actually trying to get the Philosopher's Stone so he can become a vampire, because his wife died while they were out in the Crusades, and so he hates God, and then he's the one that becomes Dracula. And so Leon's like, my bloodline will hunt you down. And then that leads to Castlevania 3, which is Trevor Belmont, the first Belmont to kill Dracula.
Jeez.
And then Curse of Darkness happens after 3, where when Dracula died, he put a curse upon humanity. And you play as one of Dracula's servants, Hector, who is a devil summoner, who essentially becomes a good guy. And throughout the game, like, you fight Trevor Belmont at first, and he's like, oh, wait, no, you're actually a good guy. Okay. And you team up together, and you fight Dracula, because he comes back to life again. And like, no.
Yes, he does.
Stop, Dracula. And then Dracula's gone for a while. Then Simon Belmont fights Dracula. Simon beats Dracula. And then Dracula's body parts are like exhumed, and they're going to try to resurrect him. So Simon Belmont has to like kill them and kill Dracula again before he gets actually brought back to life.
And that's 4, right?
No, that's 1. 4 is a remake of 1.
Okay.
And so is Chronicle. Chronicle is like another remake of 1.
Jeez.
And then after 1, then it's Harmony of Dissonance, where you play as Simon's well, actually, no, there's the Castlevania Adventure, where you play as Christopher Belmont, which I think that's Simon's son or grandson.
Which one is the critically acclaimed, universally loved Castlevania 64?
I think that's actually like a side story.
That's not even worthy of a main.
It's like somewhere later on, because I want to say it takes place after Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, only because it's during that time period, because Richter Belmont fucked the Belmont clan because he decided to let himself get corrupted by darkness from the Dark Priest Shaft, which is what happens in Symphony of the Night, and therefore they're not able to wield the Vampire Killer Whip.
Mm.
And so they're like, there's Order of Ecclesia, where it's like, hey, we'll fight Dracula in the meantime. There's the Morrises, because the book Dracula apparently is canon to the Castlevania franchise.
What was the last Castlevania game we got?
In the actual timeline, or
like,
just Castlevania?
Like main Castlevania main full-blown title.
Well, I guess it'd be not Curse of Darkness, Castlevania Lords of Shadow and the Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, which was its own different universe.
I really did bury the franchise, huh?
And then you also had Harmony of Dissonance? No, that's the GBA one. There's Harmony of Despair, which was like the multiplayer Castlevania game, which that was really fun.
We played that.
Then there's Aria of Sorrow, which is the end of the timeline. It takes place in like 2000 something. Because apparently in 1999, when there's the solar eclipse, Julius Belmont is able to seal Dracula.
Yeah, isn't the series like super far in the future?
For the last 2 games. It's not like very far. It's like 2040, maybe 2030. So not very. We're closer to Aria of Sorrow happening, where you play as essentially the reincarnation of Dracula.
The more you know.
And speaking of Castlevania, it has been rumored that we might be getting a Castlevania Game Boy Advance collection, because it's been listed on several. It's been rated in several different rating boards, like for Australia and like the Philippines or something, in France.
This has been
and
Castlevania Corner.
Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, and then Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. 2 of those 3 games are great.
This has been Castlevania Corner with Thomas.
Circle of the Moon is not so great, but it's still not bad.
Konami in general right now is just a shadow of what it once was.
Yeah. They're like pachinko.
They don't make many. What was the last game that they actually made that wasn't like
football?
Like, are they making?
I think they make like football
console games anymore.
Like the FES, the Fez, the football shit.
Okay.
I think that's it. Konami.
But they haven't used any of their IPs to do anything else anywhere.
Contra on mobile, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, that's right. They do on the Yu-Gi-Oh games.
Oh, yeah, it's the PES, the Pro Evolution Soccer.
But it's just what, like, they not only hardly make video games at all, but now their reputation is also damaged with sort of the treatment of Kojima and his departure.
Yeah.
Konami is just, they've got a lot of backpedaling and recovery they need to do, and I don't see it even happening. Like, I think they're, and it's weird because there was a recent event with them not too long ago where they like strongly reaffirmed, like, we are still a video game company, we are still making games, we've got lots in the works. But you look around and you look at what they're doing currently, and you don't see any of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their plan is, or if they even have one.
Because, like, here's some old Konami franchises that are dead for the most part. Castlevania.
Yep.
Silent Hill.
Yep.
Metal Gear.
Yep.
Frogger.
Yep.
Gradius.
Yep.
Suikoden.
Yep.
Zone of the Enders.
Okay.
Dance Dance Revolution.
Yep.
Bomberman.
Well, Super Bomberman R is kind of recent. I'll give him that one.
Boktai.
Yes.
Although that only had like what 2 games.
That was a Kojima game as well.
Yeah. Rocket Knight Adventures.
Yeah, that's long
Bloody
gone.
Roar.
Yep.
That's about it.
And Rumble Roses, rest in peace.
Rumble Roses, yeah. If you want like something similar to like Dead or Alive,
Yeah.
but with wrestling.
Ripperoni.
Pepperoni.
But so yeah, so I don't know what.
Because I showed you Suikoden for the first time like just the other night, and you're
Yeah,
like,
and I was
huh.
like, I kind of want to play this now.
Yeah,
this is
it's
fun.
good.
And it's
you own it physically.
I do own it physically.
So you could, if you got a PS3 at home or a PS1 or a PS2, you can pop it in and be like.
But then you let me play 2, and I was like, I don't want to play this one anymore.
Oh, 2's way better. If you got a PS3, you can still play the second one. You just get it digitally.
That's right. It's a PS1 game. Yeah.
Suikoden 3 is actually pretty good, which you can buy it on the PS4.
I can get which one on PS4?
3.
3.
And
okay.
I think on the PS3, I want to say Suikoden 4 is available digital, or maybe it might be also on the PS4. Because if it is, I'd also recommend getting Suikoden 4, because that was my very first Suikoden game.
Speaking of PlayStation, you've been on the hunt for... I don't know if you've actually been on the hunt, but I know you've been craving a PS Vita again for quite some time. Are you pursuing that? Are you looking into getting one?
Not yet, just because, trying to save up money for stuff right now, but it's in the back of my head, because I want to, like, replay these old games again. Like, I want to replay, like, all the Persona games, like Persona 1, 2, 3, 4, play some old PS1 games that I can actually then map the the D-pad to the analog stick.
Okay.
So that way I can play like Xenogears with an analog stick, which feels so much better than using the D-pad. Play something like Suikoden 2 with an analog stick.
We were trying that out the other night, and I was like, I wish I could use the analog stick.
Oh yeah, no, because the PSP and the Vita has the mapping.
Yeah. Well,
which I don't understand why PS3 doesn't have that.
The Vita is so weird. How just like...
The Vita was amazing.
Everyone sat around and went, man, this thing's really cool. And then the people that made it were just like, nah. Like, I don't understand what happened. Did they just look at the sales numbers of Nintendo, of like the DS, and went, we can't compete with that, so screw it? Like, was that it? Because the DS, I think, is like the top selling handheld.
Maybe?
Or maybe it was the Game Boy Advance fan. But one of those two is like the top selling handheld systems. So I don't know if they just looked, they were like, we're going to blow Nintendo out of the water, and then they didn't immediately, so they just said, screw it.
Okay, so I'm 90% sure Suikoden 4 is available on the PS3 digital.
I love that 10% uncertainty.
For $9.99. Yes, for $9.99, you can get Suikoden 4 on the PlayStation 3. If it's still up. I would hope so. Because I don't remember if I bought that or not. I have to, honestly, I'll probably check after this podcast, go see if I bought it, and then re-download it. Which I did with Persona 4.
Best-selling handheld.
Oh, that's going to be like the Game Boy Advance, SP, or the DS family.
Best-selling game consoles. But I mean, I know we've gone over this before, but I want to look strictly at...
It's definitely Nintendo. Has the best handheld.
Nintendo DS family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 154 million.
But here's the thing, like, the PSP and the Vita are so great, and when you mod the PSP, it becomes the best handheld ever. I'm sure the Vita becomes one as two, but the Vita is much harder to hack.
So the PlayStation Portable PSP sold roughly 80 million. Mm-hmm. The Vita sold 10 million.
God damn.
So that I think is why Sony was just like, forget it, because that means the Wii U sold more than the Vita. In that perspective, I can see why Sony was like, nah.
But the Vita was so good. It was like the RPG machine.
What? Is it because 10 years ago... When did the Vita release originally?
2012,
2013?
No, because
Was it earlier than that?
2011, because
Okay.
Golden came out in 2012, 2011. Hang
I
on.
mean, looking back 10 years ago,
Oh, okay, no, 2013. Okay, but still,
all right, so 8 years ago, you say RPG machine. It was really the JRPG machine,
yeah.
which I think even now is still niche to a degree. So I know going back 8 years ago, it was even more niche.
Because like Persona 4 Golden, that was like the big console seller.
So I think that was the issue is
Tales of Hearts R was really good.
I think that was the issue was those 10 million people all love JRPGs, which is why the Vita was so loved. But if you don't play RPGs and you don't really care for JRPGs, I don't think the system had much to offer. I think that may have been its issue.
It had Uncharted Golden, whatever. That was all right.
I don't think that one was very good.
It was okay.
I think that was its issue.
It had some like Monster Hunter clones on there that were pretty fun.
Yeah, that I'm assuming that was probably its downfall was it was pitched, word of mouth got around, oh man, you can play so many cool RPGs on this thing. But if you didn't care about RPGs, you were like, I'm not going to spend...
The thing that sucked was Gravity Rush started on the Vita.
Yeah.
Gravity Rush is great. The thing is, Sony didn't support the Vita. Like, they threw it out, and they're like, all right.
Yeah, they did drop
Okay.
it pretty quickly. And the only thing I can figure is they thought very early on it was going to sell like crazy. I mean, for reference...
But the 3DS didn't even sell great at first, but the Nintendo kept going. They're like, hey, we got this ambassador program. Hey, please buy the console.
Like,
we're going to lower the price even for it. Please buy it.
Like in the middle of a global pandemic where supply is scarce and it's hard to get a hold of, the PlayStation 5 in its first year, not even been a full year, has already managed to sell the same number as the Vita did in its entire life.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
But I'm hoping to get my hands on a Vita one day, though.
I wonder if they'll ever... they probably won't. I mean, I was gonna say I wonder if they'll ever try again, but
no,
I don't think they will. The thing I'm really curious about at this point, what's Nintendo gonna do next?
The Switch 2.
That's the thing. I'm like, I think they're just gonna be stuck having to create
evolutions of Switch.
It's gonna be kind of like the new iPhone every year has a better processor and it's a little stronger.
That's the only thing you can ask for, though, because they got the handheld and console.
That's the thing.
One.
It's like I don't know what else they can do. They can't go back to strictly handheld, and they can't go back to strictly home console.
But I mean, they kind of can,
unless they create two systems.
Yeah. Well, you have the Switch Lite, which you can't hook up to a TV, and you have the Switch. That's what essentially might just happen. You have the Switch, which will be this superior
the Switch
machine.
Pro, which will run...
It can do like 4K, 60 FPS.
But if it's not portable, that defeats the purpose. That's the thing.
But no, that one can be portable, but it's also going to be hefty. It's not going to be...
Kind of like the Valve...
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck, yeah.
And then you also have the Switch Lite series, which, this is only handheld, but it's not going to be anywhere near as powerful as what you could get on your regular Switch, which, as of right now, I think power-wise, they're both the same. Mm-hmm. It's just one you can hook up to the TV, and the other you cannot.
Yeah. I mean, even, and it's weird, too, because, like, the OLED Switch that's coming out next month,
it's not any more powerful.
Exact same internals. It's not going to run any better than the 2017 Switch I bought on the first day of release, which I think is insane to a degree.
But it's going to look prettier.
It's going to look pretty. I've seen photos of it in action. It looks great. Like people like the thinner bezel, the bigger screen.
Yeah.
Like it
but
looks
it's also
really nice.
$50 more than a regular Switch.
You know what else is funny? Speaking of the Switch, apparently right now it's getting a price cut in Europe.
But also, to be fair, if you compare the European prices to the U.S. prices, I think they're paying more money than we are. Like, if you convert it, I think they're trying to get it to match our price.
I have to imagine maybe the sales numbers here are still higher compared to Europe. So they're just like, why cut the price here when it's still selling amazingly well?
Right.
Whereas in Europe, maybe it's slowed down, and so they're like, okay, let's cut them a deal and see if it
But guess
helps.
what? You know what had OLED at launch? The Vita.
The PS Vita.
You want to know something cooler? The Vita also had cellular compatibility.
Yeah, I've never.
So if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're like, I want to play some multiplayer, I want to go on the shop and download stuff, you connect to the cellular service, which I think they used AT&T, which, but still.
It's kind of funny, with the exception of a cell phone.
And tablets.
Cellular has never been a selling point for me.
Oh.
I've no desire. Like, for me, I'm never going to have my tablet in a space somewhere where I'm not going to be able to have access to Wi-Fi or something.
Or
like,
you just turn your phone into a hotspot.
Yeah, like, that's the thing is, like, because you got to remember that becomes a monthly bill that you're paying to. Yeah. And if you're barely ever out and about with, like, cellular has never been a selling point.
But it was still interesting that the fact that the Vita had that.
Yeah, but it's weird because, like, even to this day, you know, back then the iPhone was a couple of years old, and maybe having a different device that was cellular would be cool. But at this point, the newest smartphones do it all.
Yeah, you can honestly get like these controllers
you
can hook up to it, and your smartphone is like a little mini Switch.
But even the newest tablets on the market today are still selling with cellular as an option, and it's just like I don't get the appeal. I mean, obviously, clearly, I must not be the market for it, but there must be somebody out there who it's for.
You know, old people that don't have Wi-Fi or something.
I guess I don't know. But
yeah, that's just the way it is.
Some things will never change.
Some things have to change.
Don't you believe?
Yeah, but Vita's where it's at.
I want to thank y'all for listening to this week's episode of Everything You Want, Nothing You Need. Be sure you can go to VGX7.com. That's a website.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not a website, it's just a URL. It'll take you straight to the YouTube page. You can go there, VGX7, search it on YouTube, find our channel, hit the subscribe button, all right?
It's a big red
button. Can't miss it. You can't miss it. If it says
if you
subscribed,
don't click it, a baby will die.
That's right.
Somewhere out in the world, there will be a baby that dies.
Someone dies every 7 seconds. I don't know this.
Every time you don't click that subscribe button, somebody dies.
Anyway, we don't mean to threaten and scare you, but please subscribe to the channel. Also, you can go to patreon.com. You may have heard of this little website called Patreon. You can go there and search up VGX7, and you can find us on patreon.com/VGX7. And you can give us money. Money that we need to keep doing things like this. And our other show, like Ultimate Gaming. And other kooky, stupid projects I come up with. I need to buy a suit. All right? Late night gaming talk shows don't start themselves. But with money, anything is possible. So with that, I want to thank you all for listening to the show. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.
Kisses, hugs, and belly rubs.
Okay, bye-bye.